We are recording. Good morning, everybody. It's Gina and Danielle again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday. We have made it to Friday. I'm relieved. I'm bummed in all of the above because I love Fridays. I mean, I love doing what I do. I love working, but this week has been a long week. Let me tell you, people. It has seriously been a long week.
Fridays.
Oh, I accidentally. There we go. Sorry, I didn't mute myself.
I like Fridays too, but I don't look forward to them like I used to when I was in corporate anymore. It's like I'm not living for the weekend anymore. It's like for me now, it's almost sad that it's Friday and I have to take like 2 days and not do anything, which I'm still doing stuff because my brain is still thinking. So, I mean, I'm not off 100%, but I'm not like actually like pushing yeah, I'm not working, but my brain thinks we're still at work. So
my husband's like, you're still working. You're still working. Why are you still working? Aren't you going to take the day off? I'm like, but I don't wanna.
Mine is oblivious. He thinks I'm just looking at memes and I let him think that.
I'm trying to get the comments to come up because it looks like we've had somebody that's already commented and I am having a hard time. It is hard for us to see comments when we're in here. For some reason, it's not showing them to us properly. So we're having some technical difficulties with that. So if you ask questions while we're live, I'm sorry. It's Sandra just saying, thank goodness it's Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So good. Nobody asked a question. So we do have a couple of questions this morning. And the first question that somebody asked was, this is for Gina. So they know you already. They know that.
Okay.
Gina. So Gina, you talked about building things out in Trello and all your processes and procedures. What does that look like? How did you go about doing it? I don't know if we can answer that in the few minutes that we have.
So, I need a whole whole workshop on this.
So let's break it down. So for our internal processes,
so we'll start there.
So we hired, we have our own PA now, which Allison is amazing. And I am so excited. And I posted on Facebook groups this morning. We are hiring. We need to hire a graphic designer, or actually possibly right now we only need one, but we possibly need quite a few over the next 6 months. So I posted on Facebook and I was like, oh, I hate doing this because my inbox is going to get flooded. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to do that. I just sent that all to our PA's inbox. So now she has to deal with all the emails. that was like the greatest revelation to me this morning ever, that I don't have to deal with this influx of stupid stuff, because there's already, I think only one email in there and they didn't answer all the questions. I gave 10 questions. It was so easy. And you know what? I will read my job proposal here on the air at the end of the video, because maybe somebody here is listening that can help us out.
So our internal processes. So
yes.
I will explain to you guys how I'm just going to explain to you guys my Trello organization process, because it's really easy. So because Trello is really great for task management, it's really helpful. But where people kind of get confused is, okay, so I have a board and I have all of these boards and they're just everywhere. And what ends up happening is you do end up having so many boards that have no real purpose. They're just kind of like junk drawers, and we don't want that. So the way you look at it is your board is the whole big board is a category. And then your lists are the subcategories. And then the cards are the things that fall under that category. So we have, I actually have our Trello up right now. So I can look at it while I'm talking to you guys. So we have several boards, but we have quite a bit that's going on. So I have my own personal to-do board. Danielle has her own personal to-do board. We have a collaboration board where we sit down and we plan things together. And where it gets cool is Trello, which used to not have this back in the day when I decided that it was crap. I used to not have this. So, but now it has this cool little automation feature called Butler. So Danielle and I could sit down and we can brainstorm together. And then when we move something to Allison's column, my column, or Danielle's column, it immediately all gets sent to each other's to-do boards I put a dump list at the beginning of every board where you can just brain dump whatever you're thinking that needs to go for that thing, and then you can organize it later. So it all immediately gets sent to everybody's dump lists. So it's all immediately delegated, and everybody just opens their to-do boards on Friday or Monday, whenever it is when they want to start getting ready for the week, and can organize it accordingly based on how they work best. So then we also have like a full-blown business brain dump board, because Danielle and I have ideas that are constantly flowing and we needed a way to organize it. We have a resources board, because I find we find really cool resources all the time. So I have stuff in there. Then we have stuff for the RBB morning show to produce it. We have one for the membership that we're building because it's its own animal. I'm currently using a Trello board to build out a full-blown training library for our team that's coming through. And I'll talk about my process for that one day when it's done. Then we have one full blown for like all of our wins for every month of the year. So we can keep up, we can look back and see all the cool stuff that we did. And, then we're currently in the process, and I can't decide. And this is I've tasked Danielle with this after I built the thing out, to decide whether or not we're going to use Trello, in conjunction with Dubsado for lead follow-up, or just Dubsado. I'm letting Danielle decide what's best for her and Allison. I have no part of the sales process. I want no part of the sales process. It is not my problem. I just made a thing to try and make it easier and got out of the way. It's just like, here you go. And then I backed away slowly and faded into the mist. That was me. So with sales. So that's, and then we have templates and stuff that are in here. And I used Teams to kind of get the boards organized a little bit, and to help you out, the ones you get into the most, just star them as your favorite, and it comes up at the top. So I just rattled a lot off at you, but basically I was just giving you examples of how we use it. But long story short is, boards are categories, lists are subcategories, cards are the thing in the category, in the subcategories, and then use Butler to automate stuff, which can move cards back and forth between boards for you. Can, like, at the end of I wanted to do it every week, but Danielle made me change it, but I wanted to do it every week because it's my OCD, I have an calendar automation where it'll archive all the cards in the done column for the week for me. So when I start on Monday, my board is fresh and clean, and only the stuff I'm working on that week. Danielle said do it every month, so I had to fix that. But you can do things like that, or like I have daily, monthly, and weekly, like recurring tasks. So when I finish them, Trello just resets the checklist for me, so I don't have to create a new card every time. It just resets the checklist as opposed to archiving because you can have it do that. You can have it archive and redo the card, but that to me seemed redundant. So just clear the checklist out. I mean, it like does really cool stuff. Like when if Allison needs me or Danielle for something, it will automatically tag us if she does a certain thing. Same thing if we need Allison for something, it does that back and forth. So that's kind of how we use it for to work as a management team. So from a management and like our to-do list standpoint, it really works well for that. And you can automate a lot in it, because I don't see the need in wasting time on clicks or doing something manually if the thing will do it for me. I like to delegate as much as I can, and that includes to my software. I will actually delegate my clicks to my software. So just pay attention just look at how you can do things that way. I really hope that answered your question. I've been told I can sound like a professor and I can get really technical, but this is a technical thing, and I broke it down as best I could. I'm sorry.
I will honestly say she did boil it down. We are going to be offering a full-on, very, very technical training on Trello, very in-depth in our membership when that releases this summer. So there will be more. Sandra asks, is Butler available in the free version? No, it is not.
Actually, it is, but you only get one. It is available in the free version, but you only get
Oh yeah, that's right.
one automation per category. So it has like rules. It has so you can only get one rule. It has like one calendar, one button, you can only do one in each of the thing that it offers. You can do it in the free, but it's limited. Just pay the $5 a month in Trello Gold, and
it is well worth its weight in gold.
Yes, it is. Once I upgraded it, I've been able to automate so much, but before it was limited and I was really mad, and Danielle can tell you I was getting mad.
Getting very upset with it. I love the tagging people on the home screen you can see who tagged you. Yeah, I love that too. That home screen is a lifesaver, which is something I wish we had a client that we were using Trello heavily for, and it got really, really crazy. And I had forgotten about the home screen option. So Sandra says, thank you, Gina.
Welcome.
Okay, so then anybody else that is on with us live, because we have a few people, anybody have any questions before I dive into one of our ones that were sent in to us? We have Sandra, we have Sharon, and I don't know who else is with us right now. There's somebody else on, and I keep seeing the number 3 pop on and off, but can't tell who it is.
Maybe having connectivity issues that happen.
Yeah, that's somebody trying to get on from their cell phone or something. Okay, our next question is actually sort of for both of us.
Okay.
How many hours a week do you work to do what you guys are doing? So the reason they're asking this is somebody saw my snarky post about when I had to sit down and number how many businesses I had yesterday. So they're like, well, how many hours a week are you working? So I'm going to tell you right now, it's, believe it or not, far less or more. I actually, you know what? I don't even know that I can tell somebody how many hours a week I work. Because it's all for my desk.
Well, I'll quantify it this way. I can tell you how many hours I work in desk work. As far as brainstorming work, because we'll be honest, we don't stop. That's how we ended up with that pile of stuff. It never stops. Business, like for us, because Danielle and I are true entrepreneurs in that we can see, like, somebody will bring something to us and we immediately can tell like how to monetize it or how to make money from it or how to turn it into something. Like we can't, like it's a compulsion. We can't help ourselves. We even all the way down to our expenses when we're looking at stuff, we're looking at, what's a use for the business is, like, okay, it's just a cost of doing business. How are we going to be able to reuse this over and over and over again? We do try and do things as cost effective as possible, but at the same time, we understand it's the cost of doing business. So for me, I am at my desk from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, I'm at my desk from 7 till probably like lunch, and then at lunch I'm on my iPad usually doing some trickly stuff, so I'm done at like 1, 2. Fridays I'm out as soon as I can get out. 10 a.m. 11 a.m. I'm out. So I guess you could say I'm desk working probably 20 to 25 hours. I used to time myself and could have given you an exact number with quantifiable where I spend majority of my time, but I've quit doing that as of late because I didn't need it anymore to be productive. But as far as actually like working, Danielle and I were texting last night talking about a major project, and it was 9:30 her time and 8:30 my time. And I didn't scold her because we were discussing a project and profit margins and whatnot. Mind you guys, I'm standing in my bathroom, getting ready to get in the shower, standing there with my phone, with the water running, answering questions. So I'll just leave it to your imagination.
So Gina's
how obsessed we are.
I'm glancing at my cell phone right now to see what the last check. Okay, I sent you a text at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
My last text was, though, my husband is going to choke me if I don't chill out.
Mm-hmm.
So I set my phone down. You want to know when I picked it back up? 1 a.m. this morning. Though I did go back to sleep, and I slept for a while, and then I'm texting again by 4:30 a.m. Gina wakes up to this wall of text from me every morning. I mean, and that's my normal. My husband gets up at 4:30 a.m. So for me, how many hours a week do I work? So I'm at my desk, and I was scolded thoroughly by Sandra, by Gina actually like really yelled at me this
I
week.
made her pull up her calendar, and I'm not sorry.
Sandra really chewed me out this week. My husband has chewed me out this week. My son chewed me out this week.
Oh, Michael got involved. That's not good.
No. And my buddy Charlie chewed me out this week. So I have been chewed out repeatedly because Monday I worked from 4:30 a.m. till 5 p.m., made dinner, was back at my desk by 5:30 and worked until 11. And then I did the same thing on Tuesday. Though Tuesday I did take a break midday because I am doing this brainstorming session. And I got to tell you about Casey at some point. My friend Casey, you will all enjoy hearing about her. She's actually going to join us live one morning and be here answering questions for some of you. We are... Sandra, oh yeah, I've been on her case, but she don't listen. No, I don't listen very well. Gina got more forceful with it though.
Hey, scared of you.
So Tuesday, I did take a break in the midday for like 3 hours. I was gone, but then I worked until 10 o'clock Tuesday night. Wednesday, however, I was done by 4:45 and I did not come back to my desk at all. And yesterday, Gina made me leave. I think I left at 1 o'clock. So Sharon wants to know, and what do you say to them when they scold you, Danielle?
You took your tongue out at me.
Well, yeah, I pretty much stuck my tongue out at somebody. And I do try, I have some health issues where I do need to stop, but I'm also ADHD. My brain doesn't stop. And if I don't get things out and tell somebody or write it down or something, I lose things. So it drives me a little crazy when people take the electronics away. My husband has threatened to set up an EMP in our house so no electronics work.
He does realize that you can just get a notebook and continue with what you're doing.
Yes.
So you'll just go analog.
So yes, it's
He'd have to remove all the pins in the house too to really win that war.
Yeah, he'd have a hard time. So yeah, I don't tend to listen to everybody, but I am trying to be better at listening and handing things off. In this newest big project that's coming in, Gina and I will be involved for about the first month of it to make sure that it goes smoothly and the process procedure part is done really well. But after that, we will be backing off and other people on our team will be doing anything. Sandra, she just says, okay, then it keeps working. Heck, I said I would come there yesterday. She did threaten to fly in and kick my butt. So
it's fine. We pulled up your calendar and we talked about it and we worked through a couple of.
Yeah, I am actually going to be working a little bit less. I am around a lot in the evenings. My husband has band practice and I am not one to, I mean, once in a while I'll sit and binge watch a TV show or something like that, but I don't care to do that often. And I don't really like to read that much. I'll listen to something, but work tends to be what I fall back on, but I love it.
It's hard when you love what you do, when you're like, so Danielle and I, this is where we are weird. Creating startups and building businesses is our hobby. Like we genuinely like enjoy it. It's what we like doing. It's how come as soon as we get a business, it's like as soon as we get one of our businesses where it's appearing to starting to kind of run itself, another one magically appears.
Or you launch one and then two more magically appear before you even launch the first one. That's happened a lot the last couple of weeks.
That's happened. Yeah, but it's because and it is a problem. We recognize it. We're junkies. We're addicted to this startup. So that's kind of where some of it comes from, is we genuinely enjoy it. But some of it also comes from, and I want to point this out for you girls that are still in your 9 to 5, because I also went through this. Danielle is still undoing 10 years of her corporate programming, basically. Like that's some of it.
So I come from the tech world. So I come from the IT world. It was nothing. And this probably happened 3 weeks a month to us working in the IT world. We would start our day at 3 a.m. and end our day at 2:30 a.m. Yeah, you hear the half-hour break in there. That would happen 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I mean, I'm not kidding. And that is the world I lived in. And when you work in, especially the IT world, and you're running somebody's you're running somebody's business, their business from servers and security and software purposes and all of that. Everything is a fire, and it's a major fire when things don't work. And when you've got 100 clients, there's always a disaster. And there's always that client that says, oh, I didn't touch anything.
They've always touched something.
Which means you're trying to figure out how to undo something somebody did, but they're not going to own up to, so you can't figure out what they did. And hours, and the stress level in the hours that I worked were, they did take a terrible toll on my body. I actually have, because of that stress level and because of those things, I actually literally have a brain injury from that. Yes, that is a thing. It's caused me some issues, and I'm still trying to reprogram, and I don't work as many hours as I used to.
She has toned it down a ton, but it still seems like to the lay person, it seems extreme and it seems out of control, but she actually is better.
And I do take naps during the day.
Yes.
And I'm getting a lot better. Everybody in my team knows I'll say, checking out for a little while, taking a nap.
Yep. And we all do our best to leave her alone, even though yesterday she said she was taking a nap, and then she starts texting me with stuff. And I said, you said you were taking a nap.
I did end up taking a nap. It just took an extra 2 hours. So Sandra, thank you. Sandra says, oh, good. On good side, Daniela is getting a tad better in the last 30 days. And I'm grateful Gina is super organized, is now I can focus on Danielle's daily function. But yes, we are working on you healing. And Sandra really has been a big part of that for me too. And she's good. I don't know how she does this. I wear an Apple Watch that I tend to hold my breath when I'm working and concentrating on something, and it will beep at me when I'm not breathing enough, because I have dangerously low blood pressure. So breathing is part of keeping my blood pressure up. And Sandra, without fail, 2 seconds after my watch beeps at me, she's like, are you breathing? Sandra is my voice of reason of pay attention to your watch. Have you gotten up? Have you eaten today? Gina also does this. But I need those people in my life to say, hey, Danielle, what are you doing? And Sandra will say, what are your top 3 for today? And if I give her longer than 3 that has to be done, I get yelled at and told to take things off. Gina's a little nicer to me about that, but she tries to take things away from me.
Well, yeah, I just go, okay, so you've got this we did this yesterday. She had this like nightmare of a list.
I did.
And it's because everything piled up from where she was so busy from the beginning of the week. And I said, what can be given to Allison? So we got a ton off her plate, and it was like, okay, what are all the 2-minute things? And that's all you do today. Just knock out all the 2-minute things.
So I have 2 women in my life who keep me organized, and I do need them both.
Yeah. And it's so important. Yes, Sharon, it's really important to have support, especially when you're creating a new normal for yourself. So Danielle is now working to create a new normal for her working environment. And that I had to do that this time last year. I went through that because I also come from the IT world. And I struggled adjusting to I struggled adjusting to being the person that decided what I was doing, when I was doing, how I was doing it, and coming up with all of the tasks. I struggled with a lot of that. And I was working, being busy, but I wasn't necessarily busy. I wasn't moving forward because I didn't really know how to move myself forward. So I went through that, learning how to, because I was a project manager, but I was an implementation project manager. So what that means is, an implementation project manager, they literally give you all of the stuff and then you just make sure it happens. So coming from that to now, I'm the person that gives all of the stuff and I don't know what the stuff is. It messed with me. So I went through that too, creating my own new normal with work, and you'll find your way and you'll find that. But it's one of the reasons I'm kind of so diligent now, and I don't procrastinate as much as I used to, because I had to be that way for a very long time to create the new working normal for me. So, and I'm at my desk at 7 a.m. because we're meeting at 8 and I'm an hour behind. So I have time zone issues. So for a lot of you that are in Eastern, 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 or something like that would work just fine. I'm 7 to 3 because I'm an hour behind everybody because of where I live. So you just have to pay attention to those things and just understand that you're creating a new normal. But also something that I want to point out is that if you're out of office one day, and this is a discussion Danielle and I had, if you're out of office one day, you're just out of office. Those time slots, that hour, those hours, they're gone. We don't move, we don't shift them to another day in the week, because if you being out of office that one day is going to make or break is going to break your business, you're doing it wrong. You can be out of office. It can be part of your schedule. It can be part of your workflow that you happen to be out of office a couple of days, like one day out of the week, or a couple of weeks out of the month, or whatever it is, or a couple of days out of the month, whatever it is. You can design your work around all of that.
So to give you guys an idea, and when you come from the corporate world, there is a lot of reprogramming, and even I think the how you feel you should be if you have your own businesses. So Sandra, we'll answer your question just a minute. But I had to reprogram what was expected of me. So I'm going to tell you a story. The IT world was so ingrained in me, and I couldn't leave my team because I was the head of the team. I was the face of the team. I did all customer interaction. I did all project management. I was the CEO, but it was still a small company. So I wore 9,000 hats, and had no support from my business partner at that point. So it was just me and a team of IT guys that needed support in everything. Well, because they're IT guys. I was a cat herder about 40% of the time. And I've been out of the IT world for almost a year, not quite a year. I guess it was about 9 months. And I had to go to New York City to work with one of my clients for the day. And I literally had a panic attack. And I'm not just calling it a panic attack. I'm not making it up. I literally had a panic attack, making sure I had all of my electronics and everything was packed up and everything was ready. And I had to leave at 2 o'clock in the morning so I could stop by 8 o'clock in the morning and work with my team and make sure they knew what they need. I mean, I'm going through all of this in my head. And literally all I had to do was message Sandra and Sarah and say, I'm going to be out of the office today. If you need me, text me. I'll get back to you when I have time. There are no emergencies in my current world. I mean, once in a while, a client will have one, but it's not life or death. And
hear her?
Yes, I can hear her.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Her dog is leaning against the desk.
Shiner. One of our team members is a French bulldog. And she hangs out with us, and she usually has her face up against my desk and is snoring. So that
it's actually not as bad as it sometimes is. Sometimes it vibrates her desk.
Yeah.
So learning to change that mindset has been a big deal to me so that I don't panic. Like, I'm going to New York City sometime in the next few weeks. I need to go down and meet with, we have a client, Diana, that's down in that area. I'm hopefully going to meet with Corinne, who's on our team, who's down in that area. Maybe Sharon while I'm down in the area, because I think Sharon, Corinne, and Diana are all like very close to one another. So I'm going to try to meet with all of them. And then I've got to go into the city and spend some time with a client. And I have a prospective client I want to meet with while I'm down there. And I was starting to already prep for that like 2-3 days ago. And I was like, oh, wait, I don't have to. I just got to tell everybody I'm leaving for the day. And I literally don't have to take anything with me other than my phone. So you really need to make sure that you're have your own frame of mind where it needs to be with all of that. And yes, Sharon, I'm definitely I'm fitting you in there too. All of y'all are all in the same little areas. I'm hoping we can all have breakfast together or something.
So jealous.
And I could literally take the day off, and then I could take the next day off to recover. When I was working in IT, I would leave my house at like 1:30 a.m., drive until 8, stop working, stop to work for a while, get back on the road, finish driving into the city, which is about 6.5 hours to get all the way into New York City. The whole entire time on the train, I'm working, walk to my clients because they weren't too far off of Grand Central Station, work at the clients, get back on the train, get back in my car and drive all the way home, get home about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at 4 a.m. to start my next day. Whether it was a Saturday, Sunday, whatever the next day was, it didn't matter. I had to jump back in. And now I could go whatever day of the week I want. I could just go and come home and take the next day off if I want. So make sure that you are experiencing the freedom of what having your own business means. And I forget that. And that's something that everybody on my team has to remind me of. Sharon reminds me, everybody reminds me often. So Sandra did ask, we're going to do one more question.
Yes.
Sandra asks, how do you work with time zone differences? I have one client with 5-hour time difference. I could beat you. We have a client with an 18-hour time difference.
Yep. We had Australians and New Zealand.
So make sure that you're hitting at least 1 to 2 hours of that client's time and you're online and available to them. That's how you handle that. So at least one day a week, make sure that you're working at least at the beginning of their day, end of the, you're hitting 1 to 2 hours at least once a week to work directly with them.
You're available for them to chat with or ask questions. So for me, what I did when I had my client in Australia is I did all of my work during my regular work day. Any deliverables, anything that I had for her, I did it all during my regular work hours. But instead of cutting off my my Slack at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. like I usually do, I would leave it open until about 6 p.m. So from 3 to until 6 p.m. because 3 to 6 was 8 to 10 for her. So that gave her time, to go through all of her morning, and then she could still ask me questions and message me as much as she liked, and we did a lot of they had a lot of conversations in that time frame because it was her morning when things were fresh in her mind. And that's how I handled it.
And even in the IT world, we had clients in other time zones, like drastic time zones. We had a client in the Philippines at one point. So it was like 14 and a half hours difference or something like that. Just having a couple hours, at least once a week, that you're open and available to them is usually enough, especially in our world. You can handle most communication going back and forth via email or Slack or something, even if you're not both on at the same time. Other than that, I would highly suggest that when you have an out of your time zone client, like a different country client, not just central time zone type client, that you set up Slack, because that will streamline your communication greatly. And Slack is free. You don't have to do something like that for that. And Trello works, email works, but try to get something that makes that instant communication a little bit easier is my one suggestion.
Yeah, don't do Facebook Messenger. I just want to do not do Facebook Messenger at all, because that, I don't know what it is, but people, just look, it's like they just look at it as like, Facebook it's a good marketing tool, but it's not it's a, you can close, it's a good sales tool, but as far as actual work, it's not. Things are going to get lost. You can't keep up with what's going on. Somebody might say something to you and you'll lose it. It'll get lost but with Slack, you can search it. It's better than email, even though, if you don't want to do Slack, email is fine. But Slack is a really great way to organize stuff, and then you can search it. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else have any more questions before we sign off for this Friday? So we made it through our first week of lives. Thank you all for joining us. I was going to read the job description off to you all.
Yes.
So we brought on a large client that's going to bring us their clients. So one by one, we'll be bringing clients, and every client is going to need between 10 and 20 social media graphics a month. A week. 10 to 20 social media graphics a week. So we are going to need minimum of one new graphic designer, because Corinne, our other one, is fully booked doing websites right now, because she also does websites and she owns her own massage business. So she's super busy. But we're looking for somebody, and these are all social media graphics, blog template, like graphics for a blog, Pinterest templates, those kind of things. So I have, if you want to apply, I do have a process that you have to go to apply with us. I will actually put it in the Facebook comments after we're done today so that everybody has access to them. If you don't follow the rules that are down there, then I'm just deleting your email. Well, I'm not deleting your email, Allison is. But make sure that you take a look and don't message me. I will also delete you if you message me.
Or me. Don't try and come around us and come to me either, because Danielle's
Facebook Messenger, forget it.
Danielle's nicer than me, because I'll just don't.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Think about how you're planning for your next week. What is your mindset going to be going into your week next week? How are you going to accomplish all that it is that you need to do? Remember to rise, become, and be the very best version of yourself. Have a great Friday, everybody.
Bye, y'all.